used to work the street. Started doing shows with Gov at Perfect Beat. What I'm saying is TM Easton heard of me.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is the Eric Barber here, and today I'm joined with the legendary Detroit icon, J-Nutty. How we doing today, man?
What up, though? What up, though?
Hey,
Thanks
great to have you, bro.
Thanks for
Hell
having
yeah.
me, bro. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man, no doubt. So, J-Nutty, I know, a lot of people, first off, they love your work, but I feel like some people haven't been as tapped in with you lately. What's been going on with you?
Well, lately I've been I'm putting a lot of energy into my daughter, PMJ. Shout out to PMJ. And, I've been working. I've been busy. I got an album done with Rock and Ghost called Guns N' Roses. We working on that. And then I'm dropping another project. It's kind of up in the air with the title of that, but it's done. It's complete. I got a couple, heavy hitters. I don't want to spoil it, but I got a couple heavy hitters on there that people not expecting to see.
Okay.
And Bodie is one of them.
Nice.
Yeah. I got Murder Pain on one of them. So
There you go.
yeah, so I got, a project ready to drop. And then I'm, kind of quarterbacking my daughter's project. So I've been busy, even though it might not seem like it, you know what I'm saying? So getting it in when I can and, outside of all the other things that life be lifing with.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And, speaking of your daughter, I saw her perform with you at the Dilla World show, which, for those of you guys, Dilla World is one of the biggest, events honoring the legendary J Dilla. And, she killed it. You gave her the opportunity to do some of her music. She did ads on a couple of your songs. What was it like to rock out with your daughter for that show?
Actually, that ain't the first time that we rocked out, but that was the first nice, good hip hop crowd that we rocked out, for, a lot of the people that love the culture and love hip hop. And, a lot of people don't know that, Dilla did a lot of beats and a lot of production for, a lot of artists. So backpack rappers, and, the whole culture of hip hop. So when we rock out for those kind of crowds, those intimate crowds, it's a little bit better. So that was our first time ever getting a chance to do it for that crowd. And, I love being able to perform with her, but I was in shock that she knew, all the words to the Me and Bizarre song. So it was kind of cool, to rock out with her, shout out to Ty Mopkins, shout out to the Black Lion Society. They was there in the building, Miss Redbone, Nika, it was a few people in there. Black Milk was in the building.
Oh, yeah.
Fat Cat, Fat Ray,
Oh,
DJ
yeah.
House Shoes. It was a lot of people in the building, and my daughter never got a chance to rock out for them, and she even said to herself, it's a different feel.
Yeah.
A lot of times when we do these shows, when we do the big shows, it's cool, but when you do the small, intimate shows, it's like a different feel. You know what I'm saying? And that was a blessing just to get her to have that feel and let her see the difference in the crowds.
Yeah, no doubt. I love those shows because I feel like the people who churn up to something like a Dilla World, it's different from the 313 day celebrations where everyone they're either work in the hip hop industry or they are rappers and stuff. Even the crowd was other rappers, producers,
right,
etc. So
and when that happens, this what I mean by that. So what a lot of people don't know, and I could speak for them. Blackface, Rock Bottom, I know him. Tango and Cash, Big Hurt. We all have been in shows and said, "Hey, I want to watch it from the audience.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch it from backstage. I want to go out there and interact with the crowd. I want to go out there and see, what's going on." So if I'm in the crowd and I remember one time Babyface Ray was performing at Little Caesars Arena, and I was in the crowd. I was in the audience, and I left from backstage and came out to the audience. When I came out in the audience, I can hear that his mic wasn't hitting when he walked to a certain part of the stage. So I went to the sound man and told the sound man, I said, every time he go over this side, the mic gets dull, blah, blah, blah. So I knew one of the sound guys. So he go over there and he works it out, and then he fixed it.
Yeah.
Nobody know I did that. I posted on Instagram, but nobody know I did that. But that was just me being a fan and hearing the music and saying something wrong with his mic.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? A lot of times we like to watch it from the audience perspective because we want to see people rock the show just like we do it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no doubt, man. And, what I really love about, the relationship that I've seen with your daughter, right? Like, you seem very motivated to, build her up, which you don't see a lot. I mean, I did see some with, Big Herc and his kids, that kind of stuff. Was that kind of like any kind of like blueprint for you to see? Because, Baby Herc and Young Herc, they're very successful in the realm of Detroit. Is that kind of some kind of, did you kind of look to see what he did, or are you kind of paving your own lane a little bit too with her?
Oh no, I kind of like well, to be honest with you, Baby Herc and Lil Herc, they are phenomenal lyricists.
Yeah.
Them boys is fire. And I didn't, Jada came on her own and was like, hey, I got this, listen to this. And then her mom used to say, like, she really can rap. Like, you gotta listen. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then after a while, it's kind of like she was constantly doing it. So I was like, yeah, we gotta get you in the studio. It's
nice.
Serious. And but one thing I can say about Baby Herc and Lil Herc, I remember this story. We was at the house and we was writing, and there was a song. It was 50 Cent song, "I Kill You and I Ain't Playing."
Yeah.
And Baby Herc kept rewinding it, playing it over and over and over again. And he was young then. You got to understand how young he was then. But he was writing.
Yeah.
And Herc had told him, like, why you keep playing the song over and over again? Why you keep playing that song over and over again? He was writing, and he probably was about 9 then.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So to see them morph into what they are, you know what I'm saying? And then both of them are different rappers. I think Lil Herc is different than Big Herc, and Baby Herc is different from both of them.
Yeah.
But it's the creativeness, and then they just got it in their blood. It's just automatic. Herc didn't say, hey, y'all go in there and write, or y'all gonna learn how to rap. And I didn't say that to Jada. It's just in the blood. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, that's awesome, man. And, speaking of, in the blood and stuff, man, how did you come about and start your rap career?
Well, it's a long story, but I'm gonna sum it up real quick. So Big Herc and MC Ace and Thrust are all the influencers that actually started me. And rest in peace to Thrust, and rest in peace to Chris Bud was another one. Chris Bud was from 12th Street, went to high school together, and he was rapping back then. Thrust and Herc and Maggie Mag, MC Ace, that's Rocky Bad's father. So all them were rapping back then, and I looked up to them.
Yeah.
And then also, by me looking up to them and hearing the Awesome Dre's, the J to the D's, the BDF and the Poncho, my older brother, much love, he would bring these CDs and these tapes home. We wasn't supposed to have them. My mom was Jehovah's Witness. So we was sneaking listening to these rappers. And he used to be telling me, like, if you want to do it, you really can do it. Like, you really can. You listen, he from Detroit,
Yep.
And then one day he's like, well, we gonna come up. I'm gonna bring you up to the school, and I'm gonna let you see how it is. And we walked from Central. We walked about a mile, and Herc and MCA was freestyling back and forth the whole walk home. And I was like, yeah, I got to do this. So that's kind of like, they were the influencers on top of the J to the D. Like I said, Awesome Dre, Merciless, Amir, all those guys, even the box, because back then we had the jukebox.
Yeah.
So, Rap Mafia, Detroit Most Wanted, all them people let me, help me believe, like, you can do it. They from your city.
Of course.
Boss, they're from your city.
Yeah.
So I had a lot of influencers, and don't get me wrong, the Nas's and the Scarfaces and the Ice Cubes, they helped in the K Solo and EPMD, all them, I've listened to everything. So I think that's how I became, good at it, and, over the years tried to perfect it. But I had a lot of influencers.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. And that, Reminds me of a song that you released under Irrelevant, First to Third, where you kind of referenced the fact that I believe the line was like, you're kind of criticizing a lot of the newer artists, and then you say, don't you think Mike Tyson watched Muhammad Ali? And
Right.
what you're kind of describing there is, with you, right? That's your Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali.
Right.
But I'd be curious to hear you kind of elaborate on that thought and how it relates to some of the newer artists.
Okay, well, I'm a sum it up kind of in two different perspectives.
Sure.
What I say about, well, the reason why I said that is a lot of the younger artists, the newer artists, they hit the button and press go.
Yep.
And they don't, a lot of them don't know about the history of it and don't care to know.
Yep.
With my daughter, what I did was she told me before, she was one of the people I was talking about. She said, Daddy, I never knew that Will Smith or Ice Cube can rap. I thought they were actors.
Yeah.
So at that point, when she said that, I was befuddled. And I said, well, this is what you about to do. You about to listen to some Ice Cube, you about to listen to some Will Smith, you about to listen, and you gonna see a lot of these actors who were, rappers first. Ice-T, I made her listen to all of it. And then she got to listen and went further back and was like, you know who I like? I love Foxy Brown and I like Mia X. So she dug a little deeper and went back and studied the history. And that's what I was saying about some of the new artists. Even though I ain't saying you got to say Nutty the best rapper ever, or Big Hurt, or the older guy's the best rapper ever. I'm saying study the history and see that the grind that we put in helps what's going on right now. It's the same way as our ancestors did in slavery. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. Or if it wasn't certain people, certain platforms, we wouldn't be here. So that's all I was saying. Like, shout out to GT, shout out to Babyface, Ray Peasy, Vezo, and all those rappers that I just named have always said, y'all the reason why we rock like this. Y'all the reason, they understand it. And all I was saying was the people that come up under them, I just want them to understand the same way. Even if it ain't me, even if it's Vezo that you look up to, or even if it's Sada Baby you look up to, just get that respect. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally. I think that makes a lot of sense, and I think the best artists know their history, like you're saying. So
right. And also, like, even with I pay respect to everybody who love the art.
Yep.
Whatever they doing, whatever they do, whatever part they do, they love the art. That's what I like about like the Dilla World crowd, and you know what I'm saying. Whatever they doing, I love it. Keep pushing, don't stop. But it's okay to study your craft. It's okay to study the history of it. It's okay to say, oh, okay, Ice-T was rapping about this.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not gonna, because if you listen to it, sometimes you would hear that something you said before was said already.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I agree.
So, because ain't nothing new under the sun. So you listen for that reason too. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know Ice-T. Back when I was a kid and when Ice-T was rapping, I didn't even know Ice-T was a millionaire already.
Yeah.
I had to go study the history. When Ice-T was really rapping and all that, he had a Lamborghini. He was 18 and he was a millionaire. But I had to go study the history and learn, okay, this what he was doing. He was doing this and he was doing that. And along with the Big Daddy Kanes and everything. But those artists that's not from here, like you were saying about the artists that's not from here, I want them to pay us respect too.
Yep. Yeah. And, before we hopped into the interview and stuff, you did say you wanted to say a couple things on some of the artists who aren't from here and how they use kind of borrow or take away from Detroit without giving Detroit proper credit.
Yeah. Well, the reason why I said that is because a lot of artists come here and borrow from our style, whether it's our clothing lines, whether it's our clothes, whether it's our swag, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And we don't have a problem with that. I'm not saying it's a problem with that,
Yep.
But make sure you give us credit. Make sure you give us the props. Like Gilly and Wallow was just here for 313 Day. Them guys from Philly, they came out and they showed love. They came out and they pull up on the blocks and they out there with Mac Nichols and, M.O.T.W.N, and they out there with Vezo and, they out there on the block with the community. I also saw them. They went to Matasha's Smash Burger restaurant.
Yeah.
You know, they was really in the kitchen cooking. They really showing love for the city. You know what I mean? So give the respect. I love that. You know what I'm saying? Don't just say, oh yeah, Detroit hot, and come here and make money off us.
Yeah.
Or come here and steal swag and style. Get in the core with us like they did. You know what I'm saying? And for example, like I said, with Kendrick Lamar, you know, it ain't a secret to Detroiters that Kendrick is using Sada Baby's cadence on certain parts of They Not Like Us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when I'm an artist and I listen deep and I pay close attention, once again, what I'm saying to the younger artists, I pay real close attention to every lyric. Obie Trice does the same thing. Blackface does the same thing. We tap in. Like I said, he said, "What up, though?"
Yep.
And then he's using Sada cadence. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Herc said on that song, "Wait till J-Nutty get out." Is anybody hot like us? You know what? They not like us. So you come up with a song called "They Not Like Us" using Sada Baby flow, and you say, "What up, though?"
Yeah.
That's cool that you're listening, but go ahead and show us some love. You know what I'm saying? Give us some credit too.
Right, at least a shout out.
Or something. You know, I bumped into M.O.T.W.N, and he was like, "You know what? I got a song of yours that I want to redo. I want to redo it." He's like, "You know, I was gonna ask you, could I redo the song?" And I said, "Yeah, you can redo the song, no problem." I said, "Just put us in the video." He said, "No problem." Just like that.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? He could have shot his Sada Baby out and be, you know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. I just want people to acknowledge, like, okay, we borrow from them. Detroit hot right now, so everybody's looking at us. Everybody's listening. You know what I'm saying? One time, Calico had a bar, and Drake said one of Calico bars. It was cool, you know? Calico, so Blackface, he's lit, they listening. But guess what? 2 years later, Drake called Calico and said, "Hey, I want you to do a battle at my house." And he paid Calico swell for that battle.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. You borrowing from us, you taking from us, all right, reciprocate.
Yep. I agree. I mean, that's funny you mentioned that. I just, a little bit of a tangent, but I saw one of Drake's earlier works, he had Else High on a track. Yeah. But he didn't end up, he ended up putting out the song, but I think the common conjecture is that Else High obviously was the shining part of the song, and
Right.
he was not on the released song. It's
He took Elza out. See, he took Elza off. Well, you know what I'm saying? People do that sometime, but you know what I mean? He could have still gave him a shout out. Shout out to Elza.
Yeah.
For even doing it, or for, being on the track. You know, that kind of stuff. That's all I be saying. When I go to other towns, I gotta pay respect and pay homage. You know, I went down there and I was on the boulevard when Nipsey got, when Nipsey painting is, and I went out there and I paid respect.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When I was in Cali. So the same way, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And I know you just shouted out Calico, and we have a huge battle rap scene. I know you've been affiliated with it in the past. Could you speak on your relationship to the battle rap world in Detroit?
Okay. Well, what a lot of people don't know is Calico being one of the best battle rappers in the world. Mm-hmm. People don't understand that. If you never left and you never been other places, you probably wouldn't know that. I noticed Vezo said something the other day, and I've been saying the same thing. You can't say, only way you can say a Detroit artist is if you never went nowhere.
Yeah. You
know what I'm saying? I'm a Detroit artist to you because I'm here. And you never left nowhere. But when I popped up in Vegas for the fight, walk right in the bar, they playing me and Mac Nichols and Peasy song. Yep. They playing Babyface Ray song. So a person in Las Vegas don't say, "Oh, a Detroit artist." They say it's an artist. Yep. You see what I'm saying? So with Calico, I was with Calico in New York, and when Calico walks in the streets downtown New York, he is like Jay-Z.
Yep.
Traffic stops. People stop. They jump out. They want pictures. He is that. You know what I'm saying? Him, Murder Mook, and them like that, but Calico is like that. And when I was down there in New York with him, we had the New York Liberty basketball team. Like they was doing something. They like, hey, Calico, where the battle at? We coming. You know what I'm saying? James Harden, basketball players and all of them, they know who Calico is. He's famous in other places. You know what I'm saying? So people might look at it, oh, like, yeah, he a good battle rapper. No, he's one of the best in the world.
Of course.
Yeah.
Is that something that you've ever done, like battle rap?
When I was first coming in the game, battle rap was I say my best rap, you say your best rap. You know, and that's what it was about. Now it's a little deeper than that. You study the history on this artist, he studied the history on you. Y'all go at each other with facts or things that hurt everybody's feelings or things that get a wow woo out of the crowd. To be honest with you, I can't take a person in my face that close.
Yeah.
For that long, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like you know what I mean? And Calico said it before, like, you wouldn't do it for 20,000? You can't take nobody in your face for 30,000? I'm like, I don't know. I can't say yeah, and then I'm, you know, jack the money off. You know what I'm saying?
Of course. Yeah, no doubt. And, you know, he was featured on your album, you know, your 2020 release, Irrelevant. And I'm curious about your feature selection because you had some absolute greats on there. You have Stretch Money, Calico that I just mentioned, Big Herc as well.
Peasy.
Peasy, right, yeah. So it's quite a roster of people from different like niches of hip hop as well. So how did you kind of come up with that feature arrangement there?
Well, with the Peasy feature is what I did with the album, the reason why I named it Irrelevant, because I wanted people to understand, like, no matter what happened, no matter what you think about me, I'm still gonna be relevant to the ear. So I wanted to show people that I can get on the track with Peasy and rock with Peasy style. I can also rock with Big Herc style. I can have Calico as a battle rapper on my album. I can get Stretch Money. Because everybody got their own cadence and own lyrics in their own way. But I wanted to show that I can do these different styles and I can rock with these different people and make a good song. With Stretch Money, it's crazy because I actually didn't have a hook for that song. Stretch Money came in there and I was telling him, like, I'm kind of burnt out. I'm like, I mean, tell me what you feel. And he went in there and came up with the hook by itself. The same one with me and Calico and Blackface, Do 'Em Greasy. Calico came up with that. You know what I'm saying? It was because I was like, I'm sounding burnt out. I don't want to keep sounding the same on the song. Help me out. And then they came up with them. I also had PMJ on the album, my daughter. That song came about because I was talking about family and friends on Cousin Day. And she said, Daddy, it's only right you let me get on there because I got something to say. So my selection was to show that I'ma still be irrelevant to the ear. And I'm still gonna be, and I can rock with anybody, and I'm connected and respected by these people, and we got a mutual respect and a mutual love for the game. So that's what that selection was. I also had Rock and Ghost on there.
Yeah.
Who else? I had I can't even remember everybody.
You had one of Herc's sons on it too.
Oh yeah. I had Young Herc on there.
Young Herc
on there. He was on there. I actually had a song with 22 the Boat on there.
Oh, okay.
And a couple other guys from my neighborhood. That song just didn't make it on that project, but you know what I'm saying? But yeah, my selection is, I pick and choose, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could tell even from the features that you had. I mean, sorry, the production, right? Because I know Helluva produced a couple tracks. I know you went with some of like more, I wouldn't say like, beats that I'd hear you rap on like 20, 25 years ago as well. So it seemed like, not only with the feature selection, it was very varied, but same with the production as well.
Yeah, and that was a part of the same, that was the same reason. Helluva did rock with me. He did that beat, and I'll never forget when I first told him that's what I was trying to do. He was like, "What you gonna do to this, Nutty?" I was like, "Just let me do it. I'm gonna let you hear it when it's done." And he produced a couple. Olympic Knox produced a couple. Dub Music produced and helped me with the whole album. You know what I mean? Shout out to them guys. They all, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trick, Helluva, Olympic Knox, Dub. They never tell me no when I ask something. They always willing to help and try to help. But yeah, I was selective with the production. Quarter Pound Music. He helped me with a couple of
Nice.
tracks too. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, no, that's awesome, for sure. And speaking of Cousin's Day, I was just watching the music video for your song. I believe it's called Cousin's Day, where I'm assuming it's like you and a bunch of family members wearing Cousin's Day shirts, that kind of stuff. How did that song come about?
Well, my cousins, actually, it's a lot of us. My grandma had like 8 boys and 6 girls, so it's a bunch of us, and we would get together. They started it that we would get together and we'd start a cousin day. So the cousin day can be anywhere at any given time. Whoever can make it can make it. It ain't no bad feelings if you can't make it. So I can call and say, hey, I'm with Eric Barber, or I'm over his house, and we gonna throw something on the grill, and we gonna have a cousin day over here and watch the fight and play some pool, and whoever can pull up, gonna pull up, and they can bring a drink and bring, something to smoke and something to eat. And whoever can't make it, hey, I gotta go to work tomorrow, cool, it ain't no hard feelings. So we named that Cousin's Day. So the song, my father and my cousin had asked me to use that Lovely Day beat.
Yeah.
So when they kept saying use that beat, and I was trying to figure out what I'm gonna do to this beat, and it came to me Cousin Day instead of Lovely Day.
Yeah, no, that hook is like intoxicating, you know what I'm saying? Where you guys are like Cousin's Day, Cousin's Day.
And actually, I had Lil David Ruffin, he an R&B artist. He was singing it. He re-sung on there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dub Music produced it, and he sung on there.
Yeah, I mean, that was just really seamless. That was awesome, for sure. And, one thing that you are super well known for, right, is your involvement with Rock Bottom Entertainment. And, for me, like, there's a Wikipedia about it, but it's like not even filled in, you know what I'm saying? So I think for someone who's trying to learn their history, a lot of people just don't know, like, where to begin. So could you kind of elaborate on like how Rock Bottom started and your involvement with it?
Rock Bottom started with Raphael Howard. He started it. He went to school with, went to school with my older brother, and he wanted to. His idea was to get artists from every part of the city. He wanted to get artists from every part of the city and do compilations and eventually drop solo projects on each artist. So that's how it started. And then he came over to Herc's house one day and was, letting Herc know, like, this is what I'm trying to do. I got somebody from Linwood. I got somebody from Dexter. I got somebody from Joy Road. I'm gonna get somebody from Brightmoor. I got somebody from 7 Mile to 7 Mile Naturals. So he had Miss Nia was from Zone 8. Blackface was from Brightmoor. Screwface was from Joy Road, Plymouth area. 7 Mile Naturals. Boo and Pug was from 7 Mile. You know what I'm saying? And we was from Woodrow Wilson. And, Rod Day was from Highland Park.
Yep.
And Tank with Cash is Rod Day. He from Highland Park, and then Tango was from Dexter. So he was trying to put it together and like that. And that's how we basically formed a Voltron.
Yeah.
And, we did the first compilation. He had Chris Budd on there too. I mentioned he was from 12th Street. He had Chris Budd on there. And that's how it started. We dropped the first compilation album. We went in there, picked some beats, came up with hooks and choruses to them. And when we dropped it, it took off. From the first album, it took off.
Yep. And I saw on your guys', there's a Rock Bottom Bandcamp now, and I saw that there's, I believe there's 4 albums that I saw. Is that all of them, or did some not make it to Bandcamp?
No, that's all of them. That's it should have been From the Bottom Up.
Yep. Alligator City.
Who is Rock Bottom, and the Blow album. Yep.
Okay, excellent. And you rap on every single one, right?
The only one that I'm on From the Bottom Up was the first compilation. I'm on 1 song. On Alligator City, I'm on 2 songs. And then Who is Rock Bottom, that was when I was on my vacation. So I did the rap over the phone. and that was the only rap on there. But on the Blow album, I'm on probably like 11 songs.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, no, that was a treat to listen to for sure, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, of course. And where did you develop your artist name, J-Nutty?
It's everybody claim a different thing.
Yeah.
But, it really came from, what I was telling you before, like a lot of the things that was going on in the neighborhood, a lot of the stuff that, violence and the stuff that was going on, and people would, they would put it on me and say, well, he did that. That little nutty motherfucker did it.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when I moved I got in trouble on the east side, west side, I moved to the east side, and they were saying the same thing over there. So my uncle was like, yeah, it's you little nutty motherfucker. So it kind of came from that. People thought it was because I had a peanut allergy, you know what I'm saying? But it really came from that. And one day Herc just said it in the rap, like, J-Nutty the Killer, and it kind of stuck.
Got it. So did you have, because I know that's kind of encompassed a lot of your life, did you have a rap name before J-Nutty, or was it always just?
Oh, yeah, it was just Lil J. You know what I'm saying? When I first started, it was just me, Herc, and Charlie Picasso, and Thrust. They was kind of like already making songs, and then I got down with the group. I was Lil J then. You know what I'm saying?
Nice. And I know what's kind of funny is, like, I'm even trying to know what's your preferred spelling of, is it? Because I've seen J no space Nutty, J dash Nutty, and J space Nutty.
Really is J no space Nutty.
Okay, that's what is on your Spotify.
Right. The only reason I did that because since I came in the game, what a lot of people don't know, when I came in the game, it wasn't no other Nutties.
Yeah.
There wasn't no J-Nutties. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was the only one. So now that more people, came into the hip hop, and some of them are following in my footsteps, some of them may have not.
Yep.
But I got all those names copywritten.
Okay.
I got the rights to the J-A-Y Nutty, the J dash Nutty, and the J-Nutty. But, people use the name, and, they put their Instagrams up or they whatever. It's really just J-Nutty. But, a couple like Nutty, Los and Nutty, they from my neighborhood. So it was only right. He wanted to be, he just Nutty.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, But a lot of the other ones, like, it's a guy on the internet, and his name J-Nutty something.
Yeah, I think I saw that. Yeah.
It's I don't even know that guy.
I saw like a D-Nutty
Yeah, so it's a lot now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I helped birth a lot of nutties, but you know what I'm saying? Shout out to that. It is what it is. Don't, just, once again, pay respect, pay the homage or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I'm pretty sure that everybody didn't get it from me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. But
I really own the rights to them songs. I mean, to that name. I really can tell them to take it down.
Yeah, right.
They don't even know that. I could say cease and desist and make them take everything off the internet if I want.
Or just change their name.
Make them change their name, but I'm not gonna do that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Go ahead. Whatever love you getting for what you're doing, go ahead. I respect the craft.
Yeah, it's smart that you copyrighted though, because if, like, let's say this other J-Nutty blows up and wants to take you down, like, you're the original holder, you know?
Yeah.
So.
And actually, who told me to do that was Trick in the beginning.
Oh, okay.
Trick, the one who told me, like,
Yeah.
you gotta go take care of that.
Because there's a lot of Trick somethings out there.
Yep. Trick is the one who told me to do that. Yeah, Big Bro came and told me, he was like, yeah, you got to do that, Nutty. You got to hurry up and do it. And I did it, so.
Okay, nice. And one of the biggest, things that I've seen you from all over the internet over the last 20 years, right, has been your work on Guilty as Charged with Big Herc. You're on two songs. We got Gangsters Only and M.O.T.O.W.N. And how did your involvement come about on those songs?
Well, once again, Gangsters Only. Trick did that beat.
Okay.
Shout out to Trick. He produced that beat. He gave us 2 beats and was like, yo, I like this and I like that one. They both was fire. I'll never forget back then. They both was fire. I was fresh out. I was ready to rap. We ended up going in the studio with Maestro, You know, Maestro is the guy who
Maestro
DJ
Williams. Yeah.
So we ended up going to his studio, and Trick had to help put his equipment together, and we ended up laying it there that day, just dropping it. Herc like, what you got? And I'm like, I'm about to go do this. And he like, we didn't even have a hook first. We had our verses, but we didn't have the hook. We went back and then did the hook later, second. You know what I'm saying? And that song just took off, took fire. We you know, we did like an early release on it, like in the neighborhood, and just let people ride around, and everybody was like, dawg, that's it. That's the one. Y'all gotta do it. And Herc was in the process of trying to drop a solo project. And he was like, man, I'm thinking about taking that one and putting it on there. And I'm like, go ahead. You know what I'm saying? He like, well, it's both of our songs. I'm like, no, go ahead, put it on there. Let it get out. I want the streets to hear it. And that's how that song came about. And then Murderous Out Cold Town, the Wild Niggas. That's what M.O.T.O.W.N, Herc did the acronym for. And he always used to say that. You know, I'm gonna do Murderous Out. He used to say it all the time. And then finally he was like, yo, I'm about to do Murderous Out Cold Town, the Wild Niggas for real. And he was like, you wanna get on? I'm like, hell yeah, I'm on it. And then we had KD, is another guy from our neighborhood. He was spitting. You know, he was coming up under us. And he wrote a verse for it. And we just like that, we went in there and laid it, and it was another hit. That album is a classic. Guilty as Charged.
The whole thing is,
Man,
it's
shout
crazy.
out to Big Herc for that. That album, fire.
Yeah, I think he like re-released it on digital around the same time as Irrelevant, I believe in 2020. And that, you know, normally if something's re-released, the streams aren't always there, but this one, you know, blew up all over it again. And
what a lot of people don't know is Gangsters Only was one of the first songs out of Michigan to do over 1 million views.
Yeah, okay.
But back then, we were new to, you know, what is it called? YouTube. YouTube was new.
Yeah.
So everything you put on there was for free. Nobody was trying to get no money. It was just a platform to get your music heard. So that one went crazy. And it wasn't even us that uploaded that one.
Yeah.
That was somebody else got
Yeah.
it. I don't know if they had their page monetized back then because they wasn't getting, you know, you wasn't getting that. But that was somebody else that put it up. So Herc had to re-put it up because it wasn't even us that got that. And the same thing with Tools on Deck. Tools on Deck was the first video on my project, me and Blackface project. And that boy did over 1 million views early on when YouTube first dropped. So, like, that's what but back again, you gotta pay homage for the people who opened up that door and took off and ran with it. You know, we didn't care about the money.
Yep.
You know, we didn't care if we was gonna make no money off of it. We wanted y'all to hear this. We want to let the world know we can spit. And we got good songs and we just as good as anybody else around the world. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And, you know, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up, you know, the most iconic line, you know, one of the most iconic lines in the history of hip hop, man. Wait until J-Nutty get out, man.
Get out.
Yeah.
Classic line. That was Herc was shout me out because I was on my way home from prison at the time. You know what I mean? And I had a pad just full of lyrics before I left. I had a pad of lyrics when I came home. So Herc was kind of like trying to tell people like, wait till he come back. It's gonna be trouble. You know what I'm saying? And that was around the time it was a Rock Bottom Street Lord beef going on. And you know, we all friends now, we all squashed it now. But back then that's what that was the heat that was going on. And people don't understand. When I came home, I was coming home on go mode. And that's why Herc was saying, wait till J-Nutty get out, like he about to hit the streets with this. And then when I got out, you know, I bumped into Blade and he like, you know, it ain't like what people saying it is, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I bumped into Jesse and he was like, yo, you know, it was just really rap. It was, you know, we had a small problem with between 2 or 3 people in the group. And so I kind of like suppressed diss records and all that, you know what I'm saying? But a lot of people talk about that. That's one thing I don't like about it. If you weren't from that era and you don't know what was going on in that era, don't say shit. Keep your mouth shut. Because if you wasn't around at the time, you don't know what was going on.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? I seen a lot of people speak, they said this happened, or they said this happened. And, they said they was getting more money than them. And No, you wasn't around.
Yeah.
You don't know. I mean, I ain't gonna, throw nobody under the bus, but it was a lot of money around back then
Yeah.
for everybody. So
of course.
everybody was eating. So
Yeah, no doubt, man. And yeah, I could totally see that. Even Trick was telling me that so much of this stuff just becomes hyperbole, especially like over the years and stuff. And people just like to believe certain narratives and stuff.
yeah, they run with it. I seen one guy was like, why would the street lord, why would Rock Bottom diss the street lords? The street lords was rich and Rock Bottom was broke. Nah. No. Neither one of us was rich, but neither one of us was broke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if you don't, that's what I'm saying. If you don't know, you don't know what was going on. And then even at the height of the beef, we still, Lisa Lindsay, Blade's sister, was still coming over on the block. She was like, y'all need to stop that,
Yeah.
People were still, we were still interacting. So luckily nobody died from it. Nobody, it was just, a couple little feuds, and we ended up squashing it. So.
That's great.
Yeah.
For sure. And, when I saw you perform live, one thing that kind of struck to me was that, like, you gave your flowers to Blade, Proof, and Dilla, right? I mean, 3 legends in music, right? That could you speak on to like what these artists have meant to you?
I'm gonna go to J Dilla first. What J Dilla brought to the game and what he did with, different beats, and he took his show on the road. He took it, when I hear like academics or I hear M.O.T.O.W.N or somebody say something about J Dilla, it's like so much, that's the respect that I be looking for. He definitely helped change the game. He definitely stuck to his core, believe his core instruments, and a lot of people copied him. A lot of people, I don't want to say copied him, a lot of people followed in his footsteps. He changed the game with a lot of his stuff, and he gonna forever be an icon to me and to a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people. Proof, I want to say it was Proof that introduced me to Dilla, but he's definitely an icon in hip hop, and the world knows that. With Proof, unfortunately, I was with Proof the night he died. Me and Proof was real close friends. Blackface introduced me to Proof. We was real close friends. Proof definitely the night before he passed said something to me, and it stuck. It resonated with me forever. He said, I can get you any kind of beat you want in the world. He was like, but you gotta be willing to come to the studio, Jay, and get the world what you got. He was like, I just recorded 25 songs last night.
Wow.
And I was like, you think you Pac? And that night he said, hey, Pac a hell of a guy to be like. And that was my last words with Proof that night. We hung out, we partied before on many, many different occasions. Proof always had faith in us. When we inked the Rock Bottom Shady Aftermath deal, it was Proof that kind of like quarterbacked the deal. You know what I'm saying? So we was real friends. Proof was always my friend, always my guy. He never, had ill will or said nothing negative. He always was positive. He wanted what Vezel was trying to do. Vezel was doing right now as far as bringing everybody together. That's what Proof wanted that a long time ago. Blade. What people don't know about Blade is me and Blade were, far as in the group, Blade was the youngest of the Street Lords at the time, and I was the youngest of Rock Bottom. We both were young, you know what I'm saying? We both was, doing our thing and was glad to see each other do our thing. What people don't know is Blade and 22, the boat, father had a feud before. We paid the Street Lords to open up for us back in 2099, 98. They opened up for us back then. You know what I'm saying? And I squashed the beef between 22 the boat's father and Blade back then.
Wow.
Right. So to see 22 the boat and Lil Blade in the same building, in the same place, that's heart touching for me, you know what I'm saying? Because neither one of those guys are here now, and both of their sons are doing good in the music game, and living up to what their fathers was. But Blade my last time talking to Blade was when, you know, after he was shot and he was in a wheelchair, and we was at a club, and something jumped off in the club, and he was in a wheelchair, and they had to pick him up and run with him. The security picked him up and ran with him to the car, and I was stuck. I was hurt because what Blade brought to the game, he was different than us. You know what I'm saying? But he had his own cult following. He stuck to what he was, and Blade was an influence. You know, not the whole world doing the Blade dance. So those guys, I'm always shout those guys out because what they did to hip hop, you know what I'm saying? What they did to the game, and they're not here no more. So I got to give them their flowers, you know, every chance I can. You know what I'm saying?
For sure. And yeah, thanks for sharing that insight. That's like super impactful. And I didn't know a lot of that. So I appreciate that.
I don't want to sound like I'm babbling, going too much.
No.
But I be wanting to get these people, you know,
Yeah,
what they,
of course.
what
No,
they need to hear and what they need
that's
to know.
super valuable, man. I mean, no one's going to knock you for that, man.
Right.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, wow. So yeah, how do you feel like the city of Detroit has changed over, I'd say, since, you know, you started your career?
It's changed a lot. It's more to me you saying the hip hop scene, or you saying period?
You can do both.
Well, in the hip hop scene, what I do love, and I can say, is more unity. It's they're more unified. A lot of people, you know, they kind of like sticking together and trying to, you know, it's Detroit's turn. You know what I'm saying? Like Atlanta had their turn, Cali always had their turn, Atlanta, in Florida, everybody had their turn. Now it's Detroit's turn, and I like how a lot of people are unifying. But on a, you know, on the street level, on a day to day, the city has turned over like 3-4 times. You know, I came up in the you know, I'm an '80s baby, so I came up in the '80s. You know, when it was Pony Boys, and it was YBI, and it was, you know what I'm saying, it was drug dealing and a lot of money floating around. To watch that change alone, you know what I'm saying? I came up watching that. It was pimps back then. It was, you know, it was players, and there was a lot of drug dealing. That has came, you know, the city has came like that, you know, through that. So it's not as much as the drugs and the, you know, being pushed on the corner from when I was 5 or 6 years old. But the city as a whole has, you know, we have, you know, the light is on us, because you got to look. All our stadiums are downtown. The Little Caesars Arena, you know, the Little Caesars Arena, hockey play down there, the basketball players down there, the Tiger Stadium down there. And I think, you know, the Lions is down there, but I think we the only city like that. We might be the only city that have all our major teams down in the city downtown. So it has done a 360, and it's for the better, you know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad that the light is on us. Shout out to Ty Mopkins, because he be making sure all of the Detroit gear looks sweet, and he matches up right with, you know what I'm saying, with all the, you know, all our teams and everything. So yeah, we done a 360 on both, on the music and as far as, you know, the city as a whole.
Awesome. Love it. And you are right, man. I just saw like a study or some stats that came out that like the annual shootings in Detroit has been going down every year for like 20 some years, like something crazy like that.
You saying the
Like
numbers are going down?
the numbers are going down year over year.
Yeah, that's actually a good thing, you know.
Yeah, of course.
And you know, people gonna get into it, and feuds gonna happen, and things gonna happen. There's no control over that. But a lot of the crash out dummies is just doing, you know, dumb, you know, when you going, I've been there and came back, it's lonely, homie. And the word's a big stretch. When you going, I've been there and came back, it's lonely, homie. You know, before you crash out over nothing, you know, just think, you know what I mean? You know, I was once one of them guys who used to pick up the pistol before I left out the house every day, you know what I'm saying? But as I got older, I realized, like, I ain't even at war. I don't even need to carry right now. You know what I'm saying? Because my father told me a long time ago, he said, Jay, you pick up that pistol and you carry it everywhere you go. When you got it on you, you got a split second to think. He said, when you got it at home, you got a 20-minute ride to think.
Yep.
He said, and if it's made you mad enough by the time you get home, then it might be worth it.
Yep.
But if you can't calm down by the time you got home, you might be say, you know what, fuck it, I ain't going back up there, or I ain't going back over there. And that theory right there has saved me on plenty of times, saved my life. You know what I'm saying? It was a couple of times I was going up against an army and didn't even know it. You know what I'm saying? So that, Detroit, I want us to do better as far as, like the gun violence and the, what I'm saying, the raping and the raping these kids and killing these kids and breaking the old ladies' houses and all that. Man, that got to stop. Shout out to New Era Detroit. They really be on the scene. They really be, putting their foot down and, trying to make a change too.
Of course. Yeah, definitely. And who do you think people should be paying attention to in the music scene right now? Like, who do you think's next up?
Oh, my nephew, 22 the Boat. He turned. 22 the Boat is turned up. We got another guy from our neighborhood, Young DC. He about to pop. PMJ is doing her thing. So yeah, we got a lot of talent coming. You know what I'm saying? And it's another girl. It's another girl. I can't remember her name. Man, I'm mad. I can't remember her name. Man, I'm mad. But she is dope. I just came across her on YouTube. I mean on Instagram, and she's from the city too. I'm gonna make sure we get in touch with her. I got an artist named Young Scoob.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I got an artist Young Jordan. So be looking out for them. They coming too.
Excellent. And who are you listening to right now?
Right now, I love ESTG. I think ESTG out of Kentucky. I think he out of Kentucky. I love ESTG. I listen to him. But I kind of vibe to everybody. I love Detroit music, you know what I'm saying?
Of course.
Even if it's a song that I don't like, I listen to it just to hear they wordplay or hear what they was talking about on that song, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mac Nichols. Mac Nichols dropped some heat. So he just dropped his album. But I love everybody. I listen to everybody. I love the art.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. And, one thing that I felt like went on a lot of people's radars was your feature on Bizarre's King of Detroit, right? I believe that was like the biggest like hit off of He's Got a Gun 4. And that's like a interesting song because, it's all about the King of Detroit shouting out all these Detroit legends, that kind of thing. And so I'm curious about how that song came about with you and Biz.
Well, I always, like I said, I was always cool with Proof, and we Detroit, so me and Busy we was always cool, and but that song came about because I went to Bizarre, Dub Music, who helped produce my album, is Bizarre's cousin. So he called me like, yo, Bizarre got a party tonight, you know what I'm saying, his birthday party, you gonna come through? I said, yeah, man, I'm gonna show up.
Nice.
And I came right when Bizarre was leaving. He was like, Nutty, why we never did a song yet? And I was like, man, I don't know. We too busy. Our schedule's on the line. He was like, man, I'm about to hit you, and I'm gonna send you the beat and everything, and we got to knock this out. I gave him, we exchanged numbers, and 4 days later, we had the song. And I liked the song because what people didn't understand, I watched a lot of the comments. The song went up. It did a bunch of views. It had a lot of comments and a lot of shares. And some of the comments were saying stuff like, how Bizarre gonna say he the king of Detroit? Or, what you call it, the king? He shouted out a lot of names, you know, and he can't, the song would have been 2 hours long if he shouted out everybody from Detroit.
Yeah.
But he just, he picked out a couple names that rhyme with his rhyme, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And what he did was, he was trying to say, not, I'm the king of Detroit. He was saying from a perspective of, this is how Detroit people feel. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when he say Snap Dogg, he say we got Snap Dogg, we got
Guilty,
Easy, Babyface, Guilty. He naming different rappers that can also say they the king of Detroit. Because this is how our artists feel. You know what I'm saying? So when he did that, the rappers that he named, I didn't want to piggyback off him and say the rappers that he didn't name.
Yeah.
So I took it to a street perspective. So I went straight to Southwest Detroit, and I talked about, T and Meech, and I went on the blocks where T and Meech and MC. I got a cousin named MC Ren. He's actually Dex Osama's uncle. So I went out there on their blocks in Southwest Detroit because I'm tapped in out there too.
Yep.
I went and shot my part out there, part of mine's out there, and I named T and Meech and B-Def and Poncho. You know what I'm saying? I named a couple people that he didn't name, trying to give them, people a little bit of the history. And I also shot my part in front of the rollercade.
Yeah.
We chose iconic spots on purpose. The rollercade has been around for 60 years. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I went there. The Detroit Repertory Theater on Woodrow Wilson been around for 50, 60 years. Those iconic places, we was kind of like trying to bring a little acknowledge to that too. Like, it's more places than just to go that's been around for 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No doubt. Yeah, that song was an absolute banger, and I know it's still like doing numbers for sure.
Yeah, it did. I already got a check off that song.
Oh, okay.
Yep, I already got a couple dollars off that song.
Okay.
So, yeah, the song doing good. It was a good song. And a lot of people didn't never hear me rap over those boom bap beats. Shout out to Foulmouth.
Yeah.
Foulmouth did the beat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I think Foulmouth got a Grammy, don't he?
Yeah, off the Death of Slim Shady joint.
Yeah, Foulmouth got a Grammy, you know what I'm saying? But shout out to Foulmouth. A lot of people never heard me rap over that
Yeah.
boom bap beat. So that's what it was. What it did was it kind of brought a lot of my crowd to Busy and a lot of Busy crowd, to me. He even said it. He was like, yo, a couple people that commented on my stuff, is your fans and a couple of your fans, you know what I mean? So it was a good
That little
mesh.
cross-pollination there, yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that was really a perfect fit. I was surprised. That was like your guys' only track, as you mentioned.
Oh no,
But
he gonna get on my album.
Okay.
He coming back.
There we go.
He gotta get on. He owe me. He gotta get on my album now. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah. And I know you also were featured on one of Obie Trice's songs in, what was it, 2019,
Detroit.
I believe?
Yeah, that's Detroit State of Mind.
Yeah, how'd that come about?
And again, Obie reached out, and he had Gino EXO. Shout out to Gino. He had Gino reach out to me and say, "Yo, Obie wants you to come get on the song," and my boy Malik, he helped. Malik is a guy. Shout out to Malik and Suleiman. They run the Aretha Franklin. So they called me like, man, can you get up here today though? And I'm like, yeah, I'm on my way. So I got up there and he played the beat. I wrote my verse right there on the spot. And he was like, I always had wanted to work with you. I worked with Herc before, because Herc is on. I want to say it's Cheers. I don't think it's one of Obie's albums Herc was already on. So he was like, I worked with Herc. I never got a chance to work with you. So from then on, we've been friends. We hang out. I was just with him last week. We hang out. We've been friends, since then. And that was a good song. Once again, I got to check off that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent, man. And I know you mentioned that you're working on quite a few projects right now. Is there anything that excited viewers can expect to hear, like any feature? I know you just teased Bizarre. Any kind of like teasing of the sound or any features like that you got coming up?
Like I said, I got one with Bodie James on the album. I got one with Murder Pain. Everybody know him from McGraw Ave. They don't know he could really rap.
Yeah.
And I got PMJ on the album again. And that's I'm Calico again, but
Yeah,
I don't
nice.
want to spoil it. But yeah, that is just my album, my solo project. But the Guns N' Roses album with Rock and Ghost, we only got a few features on that. So
Okay.
that's another 11-song, 12-song album. So
Nice.
and then me and PMJ is working on a project.
Yeah, you're quarterbacking hers, right?
So she got her own project, and then me and her is doing
A collab album. Wow.
called the Daddy Daughter Dance. So I've been busy. I've been trying to fit it all in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you think we're going to see a lot of these 25, 26 or
25 for sure.
all 25?
I think I'm trying to hit
My man.
25.
Yeah. There you go. I feel like people have been craving it, I think now is a great time to kind of jump on it for sure.
Yeah. When I seen Stretch Money, shout out to Stretch Money, he just dropped Take Money 25. When I seen him, he told me, he said something that stuck to me. He was like, I'm glad you got in your bag and you did what you did, because the Hall of Fame verse.
Yeah, I saw that.
He was like, the Hall of Fame verse was showing him that, that you lyrically can do it. And he was like, and then you did the song with Bizarre, that was the boom bap, and you showed you could do that style. And then he said you dropped the video with Lil Mike. He was like, that was fire. He was like, man, you just let him know that, that we ain't going nowhere. And I was like, yeah, thanks, bro. Thanks. Shout out to Mike.
Yeah.
Me and Mike got a few songs together. And so I'm gonna keep giving. I ain't gonna let up off of it. I'm gonna keep doing it, because it's like, playing basketball, riding a bike. You can, I hear a sweet song and then I instantly want to rap.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
When I hear Jay-Z on a sweet song, I instantly want to go in there and get to it. If I hear Babyface Ray and GT got a sweet song, I'll play their same beat and go and say, what would I have said to this if I'd have been on the song? That's how much I love the craft. That's how much I love the art.
That's awesome. I love to hear that, man. And I know, like, you're definitely going to succeed with all the drops that you got coming up, no doubt.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I think we're getting pretty close to wrapping up the interview, man. So if you got any kind of final message or anything that you like to put out there for anyone who may be watching.
You said any what?
Any kind of final message or anything like that.
Oh, yeah. No, shout out to everybody, man. I appreciate everybody for tapping in. Like I said, the album did 5 million streams. I mean, and I dropped it in, in the heart of the pandemic. So that means somebody was listening, across the globe. And I did a lot of those streams happening in Europe, Canada, and Ukraine, and you know what I'm saying? So shout out to everybody that's listening. Shout out to everybody that rock with me, PMJ. Shout out to my son, JP, and my other son, Juan Peso. They be doing their music thing too.
Okay.
So, but they just both had kids. So,
yeah.
A lot of time kids.
So you're a grandpa, eh?
Yep.
Wow,
I'm
congrats.
a grandpa. Yep. So I just, a lot of time I put them on the back, on the back burner.
Yep.
So, but I'm gonna keep putting my foot on their neck. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I ain't gonna never stop.
There you go.
Shout out to all the artists, man. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep pushing. Don't stop. Your grind and your work ethic will show up, definitely. Like 22 The Boat, he hot right now. He's everywhere. I just seen the video. He in Houston. He was at the 313 Day.
Yeah.
And then when that show got canceled, he was in Harbor Woods performing. He everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it takes. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to all the artists. Keep doing what you're doing. Don't stop. And make sure you respect the craft, respect the grind, pay homage to those who came before you, and keep doing your thing.
Well, there we go, guys. That was J-Nutty, absolute legend. Thank you so much for coming on, man. I appreciate it. And all of his links will be down in the description below. Peace out.